Why is Peter Parker so relatable? Is it because he can barely pay his rent? Is it because no matter how bad his life gets, he still chooses to do the right thing? For the record, I'm not counting One More Day. The writers did him dirty in that comic. As for all the questions, it's all the above. Think back to being a 15-year-old kid. Peter, at age 15, doesn't have his mom or dad. He just has his Uncle Ben and Aunt May. When he was very young, his parents dropped him off at Ben and May's house and left, which would traumatize anyone. The trauma only got worse as they got killed in a plane crash. He was put into a situation that he didn't want to be in. Personally, I can relate. While my parents are alive, I was forced into living somewhere else. Don't worry, I wasn't kidnapped. It was only the California foster care system. Naturally, this filled me with anger. When the spider bit him and he got his powers, he chose to be selfish. When I was given something that could benefit me, I was selfish. I can guarantee that whoever is watching this can relate. I can't judge because I am a hypocrite. Though this is relatable, I can only vow to do better, as Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man in No Way Home once said.
Trying to do better.
After he discovered that he had powers, he did some selfish things, and his actions had serious consequences. Uncle Ben couldn't be saved because in a moment of selfishness, Peter didn't act. Personally, I'm not responsible for the death of a loved one, but was a person that I hated with every sense of the word. I learned that years ago he passed away, and I never got the chance to apologize and ask for forgiveness. That kind of guilt will weigh on someone. Peter lost his Uncle Ben due to his inaction. This loss inspired him to be a helping hand to anyone who needed him. Uncle Ben was a wise man who worked a blue-collar job and was a normal man who provided for his family. He may not have a genius intellect like his brother Richard or his nephew Peter, but the way he speaks and carries himself makes him sound like anyone that could be your neighbor or even my neighbor. This is what drives Spider-Man to fight for the little guy. This was portrayed so well in The Amazing Spider-Man. As much as I love Martin Sheen, Cliff Robertson actually said the line in the Raimiverse, which is the most quotable quote. Fun fact, it was actually Aunt May who said it first in Amazing Fantasy 15, the very first Spider-Man comic straight out of the 60s. I was wrong. It was actually just written in the comic. Aunt May or Uncle Ben didn't say it until, I'm guessing, one of the Spider-Man series. I personally feel that the MCU has been pushing out too many world-ending threats for each film since Endgame. Each film feels rushed, and each television show feels too political. I feel that the Avenger films should focus on those world-ending events, but those solo stories should focus on good character development. This is why Spider-Man has been the face of Marvel Comics for decades. Heck, this is what makes him one of the most recognizable superheroes, period. Like so many fans, I am tired of Peter Parker being reset. Whoever's in charge at Marvel Comics doesn't want him to grow as a character, and they definitely don't want him with Mary Jane. I'm not blaming the writers, I'm blaming the executives. Can Peter truly be happy? The executives nerfed the writers and have turned Marvel Comics into Spider-Man's greatest villain. Yes, I'm a fan of that song. It's one of Tina Turner's best songs. Not the point. This is going to sound like a hot take. Recently, I took off my nostalgia goggles as they were blinding me to the truth about the Raimi-verse MJ. This woman is horrible to Peter and for Peter. As much as I love the Raimi-verse Spider-Man films, her character wasn't given good enough character development. It feels kind of like they wanted to show off a pretty woman. MJ from the OG comic line was given so much better character development. Still not counting One More Day, but she accepted Peter for who he was as both Peter and Spider-Man. She was unafraid to stand her ground and call Peter out for his BS, but still love him unconditionally. There were no other men that she paid attention to. Sure, other men would attempt to court her, but she loved Peter and only him. Paul doesn't count. He was created to piss us fans off. When it comes to juggling a work life and a personal life, this task can prove to be difficult. When one thrives, the other one doesn't, and vice versa. There are days I feel like my work gets in the way of my personal life. There is beauty in finding and establishing boundaries and barriers. Imagine what Peter goes through. The moment he hears someone screaming for help, boom, he goes to find and help that person. Thankfully, superpowers aren't real, and fuck. Insomniac really cooked when they released the 2018 Spider-Man game. Peter was a young man rather than a teenager. He had 8 years of experience as Spider-Man. I really love the fact that he is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And as for MJ, I really love this version of her, as she is more than just a damsel in distress or just another pretty woman to look at. I won't lie, I love the Lois Lane vibe. She had so much to give to this story. I keep returning to this game because it might just be one of the best Spider-Man stories ever told. I know what it means to be greater, as it's said on the case of the game. I'm not saying I'm greater than the guy next to me, but due to self-improvement, I'm greater than I was before. I'm comparing myself to me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. You have to love that Michael Jackson track. Hopefully, MCU Peter gets his chance to shine. Gone are the days of being babysat by Iron Man, Skrull Nick Fury, or Doctor Strange. He will have to learn from his mistakes on his own. Unlike One More Day, he took responsibility and sacrificed his own identity so his friends could have a chance to go to their college of choice. He even sacrificed his shot at going to college for his friends. Spider-Man prevailed, but Peter Parker suffered. Peter inherited his will and strength from Aunt May. Rosemary Harris in Spider-Man 2 gave one of the best speeches that I have ever seen. I personally believe that she knew that Peter was Spider-Man, in the Raimiverse at least. This speech essentially inspired the Raimiverse Peter to take that leap of faith that failed miserably. Today, Aunt May is the inspiration behind the quote that is used in Insomniac games. If you help someone, you help everyone. Uncle Ben is the reason why Peter is willing to literally drop everything he is doing and go wherever the chaos is. He believes that he has the responsibility to use his gifts in the service of others. No matter how good or bad his life goes, he will sacrifice his own happiness or a chance at falling in love, you name it. He will always be there to help someone in need. When he is Spider-Man, Peter Parker suffers. Are you starting to notice a pattern here? One of my favorite moments in any Spider-Man film, game, comic book, or any other media is in Insomniac Spider-Man. Spoiler alert. Seriously, if you haven't played the game, please do so. It has literally been out since 2018. Okay, you've been warned. Let's set the scene. After everything went down, Peter fought Doc Ock, who had already released the Devil's Breath bioweapon in the public at Times Square. Aunt May got infected. Peter was desperate to retrieve the cure. He was already an emotional wreck. He just finished fighting his friend, mentor, and father figure all in one, and chose to cut ties with him. That is a very difficult decision to make. He made his way back to the Feast Center with the cure in hand and was ready to cure her on the spot. But he had to make yet another one of the most difficult decisions to make. Save Aunt May and let hundreds of his fellow New Yorkers perish, or let Aunt May die and save those same New Yorkers. The cure needed to be mass-produced so that the people could be cured. Get your tissue box ready. She was dying. She knew it. He knew it. Her last request was for him to take off his mask as she wanted to see her nephew. She knew. So he did. She admitted that she was worried for him as he is Spider-Man, but despite that, she was so proud of him for every good deed he has done and all the people he had saved. She died so proud of the man he was, so proud of the man she raised who helped others because it was simply the right thing to do. In the end, Ben and May Parker raised a good kid who inherited their care for others. They are the reason why he is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. In conclusion, Spider-Man is so relatable because he doesn't have billions of dollars in his bank account. He doesn't have godlike superpowers. He works a day job, has a troubled dating life, and goes to school like anyone else. He does have great power and uses his moral obligation to use that power in the service of others. As it is stated in Into the Spider-Verse, anyone can wear the mask. We all have that great power, sure, not the powers of Spider-Man, but the power to help and inspire others. 2 things before I close. If you help someone, you help everyone. And with great power comes great responsibility.
Hope you've got points left on your licenses, guys. That pile-up was a doozy. Hey, what?
break-in. Reported location is in the vicinity of Nomad.
Everybody loves a hero. People line up for them, cheer them, scream their names, and years later they'll tell how they stood in the rain for hours just to get a glimpse of the one who taught him to hold on a second longer. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble.